This is a Seeburg 200 LU library unit. Holds 145 RPM records.
Now that must be LED lighting.
Somebody put an LED ribbon light in it. It normally had a fluorescent light. These were mono, built from the early 50s till 1957. They were mono Seeburg jukebox mechanisms for home or industrial use as a background music source. It plays the same records over and over depending on where you flip the levers in the front. This one is working. Somebody converted it to stereo, which can be done. You have to replace the whole tone arm assembly to get a stereo tone arm for this machine. The mono tone arm is not adaptable. So somebody put a stereo tone arm on this. There's an issue with the cabling to the amplifier because I got the phase of the cartridge backwards. Sounds terrible. But the key thing on this is it's a beautiful piece of machinery. We need a better light on this. Where's my flashlight?
I'm getting good light.
There we go. This has a capacitor motor which runs in two directions. And it's coupled from the motor to the transmission with a rubber flexible shaft, which usually rots out and breaks. This one's been changed. The motor mounts are bad, and it's transmitting motor noise to the chassis, which is annoying, but I can fix that. The key thing on this machine is right there. That's a two-section motor capacitor, which is used to start and run the motor. This machine supposedly was restored by somebody who was supposed to know what they were doing. They did everything except change that capacitor, which is known to either open or short, which means the machine won't start or it'll burn the motor up. And that's the original cap. It's got to be changed.
Look at that chassis.
Yeah.
That's a solid piece of, what is that?
Oh, it's cast aluminum. It's very heavy. Let me trip it. Let me see, right there is the manual mechanism. And we'll go get the next record. That's a blank slot. It doesn't like blank slots. It's going to go to the end and bounce back. And it should stop on the next record it comes, first record it comes to. Point. And loads it up and plays from the other side by moving the tone arm over and reversing the rotation of the turntable.
That's incredible.
Yeah, they're really neat. 100 records, two sides, 200 selections. These were great for home use back in the 50s. Lighting up my flashlight.
That's okay.
This one just needs a little bit of work before it can go back into service.
But it's still real impressive.
Yeah. Same mechanism Seeburg used in their jukeboxes from 1951 until up in the 70s when they went out of business.
Okay, well we'll call this another Tech Talk with Paul and
Yeah, this is a neat piece. We talked about this Seeburg the other day, the Seeburg library unit, and it was running, but it needed the capacitor changed. Well, finding that capacitor is difficult, but I found something that works. So I'm going to turn it on, and it started right up. It calls for a three-section capacitor. And what they do is, one section of the capacitor is the run section. That's what's always connected to the motor. That's what makes it run to play the record. Three-section capacitor. One section runs all the time to run the motor. When they go to change records, they need more torque, or at least they thought they did. So they engage another part of the capacitor to up the value to give you more torque. As soon as it goes back to play, it drops that section out. Well, this is a 1.65 microfarad AC capacitor with a 0.75 section. So in changing records, it's running at about 2.5 microfarad, but it runs at 1.6. you find many different values of capacitor in these machines. The early ones used a 1.5 and a 1. Most of them use a 1.5 and a 0.5. So all you have to do is get close. It's going to vary with the brand of the motor that they use. The old Westinghouse motors took bigger capacitors. These are Bodines. This is a 1.25 volt oil capacitor, and I've only connected to the common and the run winding. I don't have the second capacitor connected because it doesn't seem to need it. It's cycling just fine. If your motor has trouble changing records, you need the second set of capacitors to boost the torque for changing records, and then you drop it down to the lower capacity value to lower the current the motor pulls and therefore reduce the amount of vibration. So far it's working.
That other tech talk with Paula now?
That's enough for this one.
Okay.